So what, in a sense, you're saying is that there are certain situations, the Houston plan or that part of it was one of them, where the president can decide that it's in the best interest of the nation or something, and do something illegal.
Well, when the president does it, that means that it is not illegal.
On June 17, 1972, police arrested 5 men who were found attempting to wiretap phones, steal secret documents, and break into the Democratic Party's National Committee's offices located in the Watergate Hotel. It was later revealed that each were connected to President Nixon's re-election campaign and were attempting to sabotage and spy on candidates for the 1972 Democratic presidential nomination. On April 30th, 1973, Nixon stated to the press that he was not involved in either the burglary or the cover-up. However, in July of the same year, tape recordings that Nixon contained since 1971 were uncovered. When the committee asked for the tape, Nixon refused to give them up, saying he had a constitutional right to keep the tapes hidden. It was not until October that the House of Representatives began the steps to impeach Nixon, and in an attempt to halt the action, Nixon offered up the tapes. 3 key conversations were missing from the tape, however, and the White House claimed that they had been accidentally erased. But no one could get away from the investigators. In July 1974, all members of the Supreme Court ruled that the president could not hold the evidence in a criminal case and ordered Nixon to give up the tapes. When word came out that Nixon not only was involved in the break-in, but also executed the cover-up only 6 days later, the country was in uproar. Nixon lost almost all support from the Congress, and on July 27, 1874, the House Judiciary Committee passed the first 3 articles of impeachment. Finally, on August 8, 1974, Nixon resigned, allowing Vice President Gerald Ford to take his place.
At that hour, in this office, I shall resign the presidency effective at noon tomorrow. Vice President Ford will be sworn in as president at that hour in this office.
Ford would later pardon Nixon for any crimes he committed while president. This would forever be known as the Watergate scandal. In order for this event not to repeat, Congress put in effect new laws. One was the Freedom of Information Act amendments. This was created in 1966 to prevent federal agencies from abusing their power. It forced them to give access to documents and information about procedures, policies, and decisions of federal government departments and agencies, letting the people learn about the internal workings of their government. Another was the Intelligence Authorization Act of 1980, which required that the executive branch keep the House and Senate Intelligence Committee fully and currently informed of all U.S. intelligence activities. Congress passed a number of measures to ensure that legislature had a larger control over intelligence activities. Another effect of the Watergate scandal was a sudden boost in investigative journalism. Investigative reporting is finding and reporting news that others try to hide. The boost was mainly because of the reporting of Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein, who gave a 2-year investigative report before Nixon was revealed to be part of the affair. Although many White House authorities refused to answer questions, the 2 found out that the burglars were to be paid with Nixon's campaign money, leading other news journalists to also report on the story. Watergate took away many barriers for the press, and they began to investigate more thoroughly in the actions of people in high position. Journalists were given the new roles to watch the government and report on anything seeming disorderly, so that Watergate would not repeat again. However, the greatest effect of the Watergate scandal was that the people's trust in
someone in a such a privileged position of government is involved in such an affair, and the group of White House officials support him, is impossible for choice not to decrease the government lied in cheating us.
The citizens of the United States felt as if their rights were violated. The Watergate burglary was not done for greed or money. It was done to gain bad information to use against the Democratic Party. The Watergate scandal was a hit to fair votes and fair elections. Not only this, but the head of the country was involved and tried to cover it up. It showed the corruptibility of public officials, the dishonesty of elected ones, and the potential for the abuse and misuse of power. Nixon did not only seal this fate for himself, but for future politicians also, as the people now had a negative view of their government. Citizens would have to learn to trust America again.